see a show of hands from all of the guests in the room tonight. I would love the consultants to raise your hand and show everybody who you are. I need all of the guests to look around and look at these people because they are my bosses. And my responsibility is to provide with our independent consultants everything they need to build their own personal enterprises. And part of that involves bringing great people into the company at our headquarters in Union Square, San Francisco, people like Clint McKinley, who also are all about creating the resources for our consultants to be successful with their skincare businesses. So I thought it might be fun to start off with something that I just put together this last week. We are recruiting for a new vice president level head of technology. And as we were putting together the job description, instead of just talking about what the technical skills that we're looking for are, we felt it was really important for people to understand what they're getting into when they come to Rodan and Fields and what we expect from them in terms of cultural and behavioral perspective. So I thought I'd read it for you tonight. There's a section that says, "Are we right for you?" We are insanely enthusiastic about what we're doing because what we do changes lives. We have big plans and we're impatient to make them happen. For us, good enough is not good enough. And people who thrive in our company are those who set high expectations for themselves and are passionate about achieving results. We put our consultants and their customers at the heart of all of our decisions. We see ourselves as leaders with a huge blue ocean opportunity in the U.S. and beyond as we're building and breaking away from the traditionalism and dogma of our channel, and we leverage advances in technology to create a new paradigm. A lot of words there, but we expect a lot from our people, and I'm proud to say we have an amazing team at Rodan Fields. Clint took and hit my little clicker. I got panicky for a second here. Thank you, Clint. Vanna. So I thought I'd take a little bit of time tonight to tell you about how we all got here. And wow, look at all of you. You're lining the walls. This is pretty amazing for a town like Spokane, which, by the way, is my first time here. And I gotta say, I'm loving the hotel. I'm loving the vibe of the city. It's really great. But let's talk about where this all started. And in reality, our business probably started in the days of Cleopatra, because pretty much for all of modern history and before, people recognize the importance of having great skin, beautiful skin. It's our biological advertisement of health. I had my first introduction to the idea of skincare when I was quite young. It was from these magazines. It's our 1969 17 magazine. I was 13 years old when I got a subscription, and there was an ad for Noxzema. You know that white stuff that crunches when you put your hand in it? There's a picture of a beautiful 30-year-old woman, and the ad said, "This skin met Noxzema when it was 15, and that's why 30 looks so good." And I thought to myself, holy moly, I better start taking care of my skin right now so I don't look old when I'm 30. Well, let me tell you, 30 comes and goes really fast. And I do have to say that I appreciate that the benefit of taking care of your skin early on really makes a difference in people's lives, and to a large extent, that's what we're about. So about 25 years ago, about the time I started my career in skincare, and I'm so fortunate to be working in a category that I absolutely love, there was a major change that took place. We all know that how we age is very important, and everybody's looking for that fountain of youth. But something happened about 25 years ago that changed our industry. And that was some dermatologists recognizing that their patients that they were treating with this kind of moderately effective acne treatment, but it was one that you could use for a long period of time, it was called Retin-A, was actually doing more than just helping people care for their zits, their pimples. They were noticing, because they were using this for adult acne patients, that over time, as the women were using Retin-A, not only was their acne clearing up, but their skin was starting to see a reverse of some of the signs of photo damage, of aging associated with the environment. And that was a major moment in our industry, because all of a sudden we went from hope in a jar with cold creams and gentle cleansers, which people were using for anti-aging, to real science and real evidence of efficacy. The problem was that dermatologists had the secret sauce. You needed a prescription to go get your wrinkles treated. And for most of us, picking up the phone and calling a dermatologist for a wrinkle just doesn't really fit with our sensibilities. So the cosmetics industry recognized this, but they also recognized that there were ways of doing non-prescription things for treating skin, but leads from medical science that can be applied for real results in skincare. And lo and behold, the age of cosmeceuticals was born, bringing cosmetics and pharmaceuticals together for real efficacy without a prescription. And this was big business and everybody wanted to be part of it. And I fortunately was right at the epicenter. These are all products that through my career I've worked on before Rodan and Fields. I started my career in skincare at a company that some of you would know the brands from, but ultimately moved to a company that, I don't want to really say the name, but their initials were J and J. And at that company, we had everything going for us. We had the best scientists and technology and intellectual property and market research. But what we were starting to find out that was really, really hard to break through, and the very best things that we were doing were remaining on the R&D shelves and not making it into the marketplace because there was so much clutter going on. And then something happened so with the clutter and everything, what would happen is we ended up with a situation called the paradox of choice. The paradox of choice is when you have so many things to choose from that it's too easy to make a bad decision. And at the end, you end up doing nothing after a while. And in the case of skincare, how many people have ever bought a skincare product, spent some real money on it, tried it, it didn't work for them, but you just couldn't bring yourself to throw it away? You know, you spend all that money, and what you end up with is what we call the product graveyard. Show of hands, how many people have a product graveyard? That shelf, that bin. So, what that did is it kept innovation from working itself into the marketplace. It was just too hard to break through. And then that's when I met these two beautiful women. I was at Neutrogena, which is owned by Johnson & Johnson, the company that claims to have the #1 dermatology recommended brand. It was my job to get that claim. That was what I did. I marketed the products to dermatologists so that they were recommended and we put that claim on the label. So Dr. Katie Rodan, Dr. Kathy Fields, two beautiful Stanford-trained dermatologists, brilliant women, show up at Neutrogena and they got an idea. We are going to revolutionize the way people treat acne. They don't do it right. They try spot treatments, that doesn't work. They have to treat the whole face with a regimen. I thought, fantastic idea. Only problem is, how are we going to market this on the drugstore shelf or at Walmart next to our $5.95 spot treatments with this $40 regimen? So the president of Neutrogena at the time very smartly said to Dr. Rodan and Dr. Fields, this is wonderful, but you girls belong on TV. You should do an infomercial. Well, at that time, that was almost unheard of for doctors to go on television with the slicers and the dicers and the fishing lures. They were open-minded about it, happened to have a connection to one of the largest direct TV companies. And lo and behold, they launched Proactive Solution, and within 2 years, the sales of Proactive exceeded the sales of all of Neutrogena. So that was a big woulda, coulda, shoulda lesson for them. Fortunately, I had an opportunity to stay connected with them through time, and a few years later they came back to me and they said, okay, you saw what we did with Proactive, now we want to expand outside of acne. If there's 50 million people in this country who have acne, there's at least 10 times that many people worrying about the signs of aging. Are you ready for us now? And I had the same issue. How are we going to do anything that creative and that innovative at Walmart or Walgreens. We really needed, we had a situation where we couldn't break through. I knew that a paradox was better than the paradox of choice. But how could we use these doctors and who they are to really make a difference in the skincare world? So I got together with the head of business development at Johnson & Johnson. I said, what do I do? These doctors are back. They're great. They're fantastic. I want to work with them. She said, they should be thinking about direct selling, and so should we. I said, well, like Avon? And she said, well, like Avon or some of the other companies in the industry. I knew nothing about it, but I went to Dr. Rodan and Dr. Fields and said, you should do direct selling. And they said, okay, and they immediately launched into department stores. And along they went in department stores where the Rodan and Fields brand became the #1 or the #2 clinical brand in Nordstrom's and several other department stores that they were in. And I was invited to join the direct selling world. And what I discovered was that direct selling was not exactly what I thought it was going to be. I thought that direct selling is the way to put innovation into the marketplace. That this is a way that I can take a great product idea and get it out there. In fact, it is. But what I discovered is it's something completely different, because I could tell you, when I went to Walmart to Bentonville, Arkansas to talk to them about products, I didn't fill a room like this. Nobody seemed all that happy to see me. But we were talking about products and brands, and we were talking about consumers and statistics. This is a business that starts with people. And that makes it so special. And it's really about the people and this pay-it-forward attitude. And I've seen the most incredible acts of kindness in direct selling that I've ever seen, the most generous people I've ever had the privilege of working with. And this was a great world. Well, a few years later, Dr. Rodan and Dr. Fields came back to me. And they said, I should have listened to you on that direct selling idea. I think we're ready now. And I said, hallelujah, because my dreams are coming true. I get to work with these 2 dermatologists that I respect and admire and have become to think of as my friends. I get to participate in the skincare category, which I adore so much. And we get to build a direct selling organization that truly can impact lives. And so 4 years ago, we launched Rodan and Fields Dermatologists. This month is our 4th anniversary. This is a picture from our launch on March 1st, 2008 in Atlanta, Georgia. They actually did have colored digital photography back then. For some reason, this was the only photo I can find. And what's going on here is we were doing, we called it a champagne toast. We had some sparkling cider, and everybody in the audience, there were about half the number of, not even half, maybe a third of the number of people who are sitting in this room today. They're with us in Atlanta. We were promising them that eventually we would be filling large ballrooms and conference centers, but our humble little group, this is Amnon Rodan on the left side to you here. He was our chairman. He brought in a tray of champagne flutes up on the stage and promptly spilled them onto our marketing manager on the left there, Aaron. You see all the broken glass and everything. And that start was kind of representative of how the business started too, because at that point in time, nothing worked except the products. And we had faith in the products and faith in what we were about to do. So the fact that none of our systems worked was okay. We were going to get through it. We knew. We just stuck it out because we had products that really worked. And we had people who were passionate and committed about sharing it. So that's been the premise for how we built this business. This is exceeding people's expectations. Dr. Rodan and Dr. Fields will not put their name on a product that isn't worthy of it, that doesn't really transform skin and in that way transform lives. That creates a business opportunity that transforms lives. And what we end up seeing are results like these. Now I'm about to show you a series of pictures here, and I'm hoping even from the back of the room, you can see what these products do. Results like this, you used to have to go to a dermatologist's office and have lots of injections and other painful things happening to you. We can deliver these results at home.